What's up, guys? Today we're discussing the premiere of Marvel's new show, What If, titled What If Captain Carter Were the First Avenger? Let's get into it.
All right, so I gotta say, for a first episode, this was pretty underwhelming. It wasn't great, especially considering how good Loki was and how they kept that going from a really strong first episode. I think this left much to be desired. I would like to go into the positives first, especially because, we're gonna talk a lot about the story and it's not gonna be that great. So let's talk about the positives. I like the animation, even though I'm an EMH fan, which is, by the way, if you don't know, it's Avengers EMH is this old school Avengers cartoon that had come out maybe 11 or 12 years ago. And I've obviously grown up with these 2D animation styles. So seeing this is like super weird almost. Just it was shocking at first because it's certainly a lot more detailed. I don't know how you felt about it, but I felt like uh, it was shocking at first. I didn't really love it at first, especially from the trailers. But the more I saw it during the episode, the more I started to like it.
I mean, personally, I saw the MCU before I got into EMH, so I was more used to live action as Marvel's sort of medium of choice. But I got to say, the visual style was really a nice choice. It was a good way to blend both live action and comic aesthetics. And the backgrounds, too, like they had kind of like a painting feel to them. I love that Hydra castle.
Yeah, and I also like the style of when she was fighting all the Hydra soldiers with that whole scenery in the back. That was really cool as well.
Yeah, the animation style was awesome. Now let's speak about the premise a little bit. You've got the OG cast contributing their voice talents. Why are you veering from the established and amazing storyline?
I mean, I agree completely. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. On the other hand, why not take some time to fill in the gaps in the storyline that we already have? There are a bunch of things that they could have went into, and I feel like they just decided to go into a completely different universe even though their universe that they had made for the past, what, 12, 13 years now is a killer.
Yeah, and like Peggy is a character, right? She's an awesome character, but she doesn't really need fleshing out. I mean, she's already in quite a bit of movies, and she has an entire like 2 season TV show all to herself. So why are we kind of beating a dead horse, so to speak, right?
Right, it's like there are plenty more characters that could have been focused on, especially when you have something like animation where it's like you don't have to really worry about these people's times. You know what I'm saying? Like they just have to record their lines.
Exactly.
I understand that sometimes it's like busy actresses or busy actors would have a problem like being able to show up for a long movie period, but examples would be like a Nick Fury prequel would have been great to see in this rather than switching universes completely. Like Nick Fury's during his spy days would have been sick. Teenage Loki and Thor, kind of like Thor Tales of Asgard, which was, for those of you who don't know, a movie that they had very old actually. I don't know how old it is, like decently old movie. Uh actually I can't remember exactly what the date is of it, but it had teenage Loki and teenage Thor interacting and fighting a whole bunch of people. Other like Surtur was one of the people that they fought in that. That would have been cool. Fleshing out the Hulk. What was the accident that triggered? Like I know that it was a gamma explosion, but like, can you go more into it? Why were they rebuilding the super soldier serum? Where did it go wrong? You can do more of that. The super soldier thing could be more explored. We talked about Isaiah Bradley in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Why not go into that? Uncle Ben. I know you were saying Uncle Ben.
Yeah, they really kind of missed the ball in Spider-Man. That was my one complaint with that movie. Why didn't we see Spidey grapple with Uncle Ben's death on screen?
That would have been great to see.
Yeah, animation as a medium just allows the writers to create stories that they otherwise wouldn't portray in live action. So this is a really missed opportunity, as you're saying. And I know you had some words about the EMH storyline, right?
Right. Like, okay, so let's assume as you're a Marvel, the like we're Marvel, like creative designer or whatever, like, right? We're the creative people. You have to, according to the upper management, you're saying you have to do a new storyline. Why not go into someone like Christopher Yost's storyline, who had the entire EMH thing? I know I'm coming back to EMH, but I recently rewatched it and it's amazing. Why not finish that story, the one that you canceled a few years ago, to replace it with a more, movie like cartoon so kids would buy toys? Why wouldn't you go into that if you had to switch universes? Like you already have something established. Why are you not switching into that rather than making a completely different universe surrounded with, Peggy Carter and all these other people.
Yeah, right? It's also, like, kind of insulting to the source material, right? Like, the point of this thing is that the plot of the first Avenger can be put into a 30-minute episode. Like, seriously?
Yeah.
Why are you condensing an awesome movie?
Yeah, I think it did it pretty horribly almost. Like they didn't spend enough time thinking about. Obviously, we can't really blame them for that. They only had a 30-minute runtime, but then again, like why rush at that level?
Yeah, knowing how the showrunners have hyped up this show's Easter eggs in certain frames, we expected a certain attention to detail, which frankly wasn't there. I mean, the town names are fictional, fine, I'll give you that, but the cherry on the cake is how they literally copy pasted these names. Like, look at Volkstaden, right? As far as I can tell, there are at least 8 of these Volkstaden towns in Germany.
Yeah, dude, that was a bit of a thing, and it's not even like I know I said we're being picky, but it's not even that, bro. Like we paused for some reason to talk about something, and it just paused on that frame, and we just started looking, and there are legitimately like you're right, there are 8 Volksstatens, and like what I'm just curious, like what will someone do if the general goes attack Volkstaden? Like what are they gonna yell back? Like which
Yeah,
one?
Volkstaden 2 or 3, which one, right? A lot of
Yeah,
ambiguity.
imagine them going to the wrong Volkstaden, bro. Like what's going on here?
It's crazy. I mean, this is Marvel we're talking about, right? You got that big fat Disney budget. Why are you going out and basically doing a German version of Lorem Ipsum Dolor with that filler text shit? Why?
And not to mention there's one that starts with F that's actually been covered by the guy's hand, and then it's also like right up there on the side.
Yeah, that's where they end up going actually. Like that's where the castle is apparently. So, you know,
Yeah, so
Jesus.
whatever.
All right. Continuity issues aside, let's get to the story.
I personally, first of all, like I personally thought this was going to be a continuation of Sylvie's decision to release the timelines. It's not the case. Obviously, they're going into one specific timeline that the Watcher seems to like watching for some reason. It's fine, but it's sort of disappointing since I would have liked to see some more timelines than just one. And not only that, I would have also liked to see like a potential team up in the future, especially since they're saying that some of this might become live action in the future. And so far, I'm not really interested in
Yeah, I'm
seeing.
not really invested in the extended lore of this reality. Like, I don't care what the end game is going to be. It just seems very bizarre and disconnected from what I view as the heart and soul of Marvel. And part of the reason why I'm not invested is because you've taken one of the greatest villains out there, Red Skull, and you've just dumbed him down to the point where he's almost unrecognizable. This is not my Red Skull. I hate to say it.
Yeah, not our Red Skull, bro. And why is there? I know like you had a huge problem with this. I'm gonna let you finish on this, but like there was a legitimate like Monster Hunter episode here.
Yeah, I know. Like, fine, there are some pretty wacky creatures in the MCU, but like, why is there an actual Hydra? Like, there's no explanation given behind like how he appears out of that portal. Like, how do these portals even work? Do they like take things from like a monster dimension? Is this like goddamn Stranger Things or some shit?
All I know is Red Skull got crushed by his own Hydra in the end of this. And honestly, Disney, like, we need to have a heart to heart here. You gotta stop with this monster villain stuff. Like, I get that making good villains is difficult, but do you really have to, like, make a good villain here? You already had, like, you had no problem copy pasting Volkstaden, but you had a huge problem copy pasting the Red Skull's character arc from the first Avenger and putting it right here. Like, you took one of the greatest villains that Marvel has had at the beginning, and then you made him into like you replaced him with a monster.
Yeah, I mean, Red Skull's right up there with Malekith at this point, right? One got crushed by his own ship, the other got crushed by his own Kraken, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now the funny thing is, right, like, I was actually a fan of, like, certain monsters when they're well done. Like, the Krayt Dragon in Mando, at least that was an intelligent beast, and I felt, like, genuinely terrified of what it could do. But this Hydra was an absolute idiot.
No, and not even that. Like I don't even like the Krayt Dragon that much because I was like too many monsters, and I said this earlier in the Mando stuff too. And I've seen it so many times in Star Wars properties now with the Bad Batch as well that I'm like I'm not asking for much. I'm just asking for a villain whose vocabulary stretches beyond grunting.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of quotables to be found there, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Imagine people actually think "arg" is like a great
Yeah,
quotable for
why
this.
don't they just put, "Ah," said the Hydra in 1930 something on T-shirts at this point,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. There's Thanos, everything like balance as everything should be, right up with Hydra going "arg."
So, on another note, I really would have loved to see like if you're going the what if route, like why not a redeemed Red Skull or a Hydra Cap, right?
That's a what if, right? That happened already. Like there was a Hydra cap, and there was like Red Skull either controlling him or being on the completely other side. And we've seen it before, so why not do that? That's smarter. It would have been more interesting too. Or why not have an evil Peggy Carter? That would have been even cooler.
Yeah, Hydra Peggy certainly would have been a cool possibility. I do like how Steve was like the one who got to stay back, and Peggy this time was the one who traveled to the future. And if they do end up exploring the future of this reality further in the show, it'd be interesting to see if Steve plays a role in it.
All in all, I guess Gus Fring can handle what our opinion of this episode was.
It is acceptable.
I feel it was better than the WandaVision first episode, but that's not a really high bar. Hopefully the series picks up from here.
Yeah, that premiere hasn't aged well. I really hope so.
Speaking of picking up from here, I hope they figure out that whole situation with Dave Bautista and Disney. I think you have more to say about that because I only read a headline.
All right, so let me give you guys a scoop, right? So a fan tweeted Dave Bautista, "Hey Dave, why aren't you in What If?" And in response, he said, "I wasn't asked." Now, that's pretty appalling in and of itself. Like, why are you not asking one of the most iconic characters to reprise as a role, right? Funny part is the executive producer said he would have loved for Dave Bautista to appear. So clear lack of communication going on here.
So somebody's not reading their email.
Exactly. One of the interns isn't getting paid enough for something like that.
Yeah. Damn, though, that's annoying. And you know what? The crazy thing is they can still redo it. It's not too late.
Yeah, add him in post or something. Like they CGI'd the jeans guy out of Mando, right? So why not do this?
Right, exactly. And why not just switch up the voice? Plus, they have a good, what, 4 weeks till that episode comes in?
Exactly.
Or 3 weeks, based on what I've heard.
Yeah, and these episodes they aren't really long. It's like half an hour. So as far as line commitments go, right? You can probably pull your script. It's animated too. You can literally just read from the script, right?
Right, and just give him a mic. He doesn't even have to come into the studio. Just give him a mic at home, and he can just record exactly what he needs to. I'm sure he has one for interviews. If they do it, great. But hopefully, the voice actor they replaced him with has, and also it hurts more. Hopefully, the voice actor they replace him with has a good Drax impression. But it also hurts more because I know that Chadwick's going to be in that episode, and that's such a missed opportunity there too.
Yeah, I mean, I for one, I'm just glad we get to see Chadwick one last time.
Yeah, gone too soon, gone too young.
R.I.P. Now let's end this review on a positive note. I look forward to seeing what future episodes we'll have in store. I know Iron Man and Thanos they'll be pulling up, so fun stuff is on the way, right?
Hopefully. I have heard that they kill off Iron Man pretty early, and I have heard that Thanos only gets like 3 lines, but this is just like people who leak stuff. Leaks coming soon, by the way. But let's see where this picks up, or whether it picks up or not. We'll be here next week.